It's great to have you on, Hamzah. Hamzah, look, before we get into, look, there's so much. Before we get into everything, just how are you, Hamzah? Like, how are you? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good at it. I'm good at it. It's a pleasure to be on here. My first kind of week speaking to the media again since my fight. And I've come out of a kind of difficult place to be fair, and more not in terms of the fight, but in terms of dealing with what comes after it and understanding or getting to understand the fact that this is professional boxing at the highest level, and this is what I've got to deal with.
Yeah, let's talk about that from, I guess, a mental standpoint as well, right? I mean, you've been given so much praise by a lot of people, and on the flip side, I think you've seen now the worst of boxing when people want
Yeah.
to come for you, right? And the daggers are out. How difficult has that been to mentally deal with?
Do you know what it is? It's that bit hasn't been so bad because I understand everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Um, Everyone kind of all the critics in boxing, they're like I said, they're all entitled to their own opinion, and their opinion is kind of what makes boxing great and what makes it so exciting. But I tell you, what kind of did get me was the fact that a couple of my own people, let me down when I thought there was there for me. They weren't there for me, and that's like I've been saying all week, that's the harsh reality of life, I suppose. Once you're kind of once you're like the flavor of the month, they all want a piece of you, and then when you kind of hit a bump in the road and you feel like you can go to these people not for reassurance, but for a little bit of kind of normality and a little bit of comfort, they ain't there.
Mm. When you say your own people, do you mean people within your team?
Yeah, yeah. There was a few within the team, and a few close to me as well. A few close to me as well. But you know, um, like I said, I had to deal with that in my own way, and I did, and I thought it was only right to speak to the media again and get back on kind of online again once I'm right up here first, before kind of putting my emotions before anything else.
Let's go back to the fight, Hamzah. Obviously, look, big moment for you, big opportunity, one that you fully deserved, one that you've worked for. Reflecting on your performance, how do you kind of look back on it?
Not the best, not the best, Ade. There's a lot of things I shoulda and coulda done. To be fair, and a lot of it was a massive learning experience for me. Now I look
Mm.
back on it. For the first kind of 4 rounds was going my way, then the hand went, and then it kind of went a bit tits up from there, and then I kind of picked it up again. But yeah, look at like answering a question. Looking back at it, I don't know why I was trying to box. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why I was trying to box. I've never done that before, and I don't know why I tried to do it then. Maybe I overcomplicated things. I don't know, but yeah, massive learning experience for me, Ade.
We all knew how good Carlos Adames was going into that fight, right? And for those that maybe didn't watch too many of his fights, all the experts knew that he was a slight favorite going into it, regardless of what the casuals said. Was he a bit better than you expected, or was it just down to your performance?
It was just for me, and no disrespect to him, great fighter. It was just down to me. It was down to me, down to how I performed. And I stand on that, and I stand on it as well. And I mean, no excuses. I have no excuses for the performance that day, but the factors that were going into it in terms of the weight and whatnot, it didn't help. It didn't help. But like I said, no excuses.
Yeah, I always feel like the fighters are the most honest when it comes to the results and their performance. When you heard it was a draw, did you think, yes, it was a draw? Did you think maybe he did enough to nick it, you did enough to nick it? Where were you?
Do you know what? It was the last, I think, 2 rounds. I kind of picked it up again, and I thought, oh, maybe I've done enough here to nick the draw. And
Mm.
I did, fortunately enough. But yeah, it's one of them, and it's one of them ones. If I could, if we could run it back, I probably would have. But the only thing is, I don't think I could make 160 again. So yeah, the move up to 168 is what was best for me, I think.
Someone asked me about that move, and I said, "Look, you guys see Hamza on Fight Night. I see Hamza Fight Week." And I'm telling you
Yeah,
now, 160 is a difficult cut for him. I know you always say, you know, I'm doing it correctly, but at
yeah.
6'3", 6'4", making 160 is just going to be more and more difficult. Was you always going to do that jump, or was this performance and a result sort of the thing that gave you the push to go to 168?
No, I was always going to do it. I was always going to. The ideal plan was to capture the belt at 160 and then go up, and then you've got a mandatory position straight away. Um, but yeah, so it wasn't so much. Well, obviously it was the performance, but that was always the plan to go up to 168.
Yeah, so many big fights at 168, right? Domestically, internationally, right? I think way more bigger fights than at 160. If I'm honest with you, I mean,
Yeah.
it was you, Adames, Alam Kanali, and that was really it. At 168, I mean, you got the pick of the ball, right? There's so much there. Is there a map, a plan now? Or is it a case of just have one against somebody and then start going for the big boys?
No, it's not even that. It's straight for the big boys, Ade. Straight for the big boys. We're in a time now where His Excellency is well, not is he has changed the dynamics of the sport. He's absolutely bossing the sport, and I think it'd be disrespectful for me to say to go there and say, "Oh, let me have a warm up fight at 168 and kind of work my way around things." It's nice. Like, let's go straight into it. Let me fight the contenders. Let me fight the champions, and let's get cracking again.
I think people, it's going to sort of bring music to people's ears, right? Because again, seeing you at 168, we've got extra £8 on this frame already. I think it's
Yeah.
probably the best move that you can make. One thing you did do, Hamza, early in your career, you decided to go to America, right? I mean, not a lot of fighters do that. They say they stay in home comforts. You said, no, I'm going to go to America. I'm going to be trained by Ricky Funes, and that's been successful. You have decided to leave your trainer and go to Andy
Yep.
Lee. Why
Yep.
why leave Ricky when it's been successful?
Because I feel like now is the the time for me to change again. And I felt like I was kind of hitting my ceiling with Ricky. And no disrespect to him, no disrespect to him, and no disrespect at all. Um, and I kind of had to sit down with my team, with the people who have been with me, with the people who have seen the way I've been training over there, and it was just time for a change. It was time for a change, and I wanted a coach in which I could use my attributes to the best of my ability. And it took a while to pick, but I thought, or the team and I come to a conclusion. We thought, who better than Andy Lee? Who better than Andy Lee? It's a complete change, going from LA to Dublin, Ireland, and it just
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of keeps me fresh and keeps me going. But I can yeah, confidently say that I think, well, I don't think, I know that this is the man I'm going to see the end of my career with.
How does that work? Is it a case of you reach out to Andy? Do you go and just have a camp with him, like a mini camp, a couple of sparring sessions, and then decide? How does it work when
No,
going to a top coach?
yeah, what it was I wanted him to coach me, and it wasn't the case of, yeah, he's agreeing straight away. He's a busy man. He's got fighters himself. He's a well-respected man as well. So I kind of had to go through a few channels. So yeah, Spencer Brown spoke to him for me,
Mm.
and yeah, kind of sorted out for me. And then I went over to Ireland. I went to watch Ben Whitaker do one of his training sessions with Andy, and I really liked what I saw. I really liked what I saw. And then I sat down with Andy afterwards, had a good chat with him, and then yeah, we got on. We got on. And I like the way he goes about things, and I like the way he is as a man outside the ring. And I feel like my relationship with him could be, yeah, one for the ages.
I always feel like coaches in demand, like Andy, always are going to have so many fighters knocking on their door. As you mentioned, he's got Ben, he's got Paddy Donovan, Joseph Parker, a couple of other fighters as well. Is there danger though of you not getting the amount of time that you need with him? Like all of you fighters fight, especially yourself, 3, 4 fights a year. Same as Joseph Parker, same as Paddy Donovan, same as Ben. Are you concerned that you might not get the amount of time you need with him?
Not really, not really, because even if I do have to train alongside any of the other fighters, they're all top class fighters. Fighters I could learn a lot from, fighters I could rub shoulders with, and fighters that are good energy, and as people, they're good people as well. So yeah, that's not an issue for me. If anything, I'm looking forward to it because I've always trained on my own. Ade, always in camps. I've always been on my own. So this could be could bring the best out of me.
Yeah, they say iron sharpens iron, right? A good camp is a happy camp as well. You injured your hand in February. The injury looked a
Yeah.
bad one as well. How's that going potentially in terms of dates to come back to? What are you looking at?
Yeah, the injury is going. The recovery is very, very, very rapid, and I'm very fortunate to. I'm very, very fortunate for that because I've been going to a clinic out here in Dubai, the Brain and Performance Center, who have healed my recovery. Like they sped it up by 50%. And as an athlete, hearing that is just music to your ears because once you're healed 100%, you can get back to it. So yeah, massive shout out to the team for getting me nearly back to 100% within like 7 weeks after the fight. But in terms of a date, well, I think hopefully summer, maybe June, maybe July. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
You know, you said you're going straight for the big dogs at 168 pounds. I mean, I look at the big dogs and potentially there's Pacheco, there's Belanga, there's Caleb Plant. I guess the biggest of them all is Canelo. When you say big dogs, are you talking about that caliber of 168 pounders?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Obviously, Canelo is the man, and I have to earn my way to him, earn my way to a title shot with him, and I'm very confident that I can do that. But look at the names before him that you mentioned, the Belanga,
Mm.
Pacheco, Plant, all these names, very like fighters who I'd love to share the ring with, and fighters who I feel like we can put on fights that do this modern era of boxing justice.
You've been on a tear, Hamza, right? I mean, again, all the success has come to you, and it's been fully deserved as well. This was, I guess, the first bump in the road, right?
Yeah.
How have you, how have you overcome that? Because again, the critiques have been there, the noise has been there as well. That maybe he wasn't as good as we thought he was, which I think is nonsense. How have you dealt with that bump?
It's you know what it's I've learned now as of the past maybe week or so to just take it in my stride, take it in my stride, and listen to them, listen to the critics, listen to the well-respected people in the sport, and learn from. Obviously, you got the armchair fans, and they give their two pence worth as well. But at the end of the day, I think all opinions, no matter how good, no matter how bad, they have to be respected at the end of the day. Because, like I said before, it makes boxing what it is. Um, so yes, it was new territory for me. It wasn't easy. It was new territory for me, but it was territory that I believe moving forward is going to do me a lot of justice, and going to be. You hear the term blessing in disguise when someone has a bump in the road all the time, but I really feel like this has kind of give me a kick up the backside and get me back into gear again.
I remember speaking to, I think it was sort of early last year before the Carlos Adames fight was signed, and I said a world title fight or Chris Eubank Jr. And at the time, I get it, you said Chris Eubank Jr. right because that was the highest profile fight to kind of take your brand higher as
Yeah.
well. Do you think that's a fight you'll ever do? Do you think that there's still an option? Is that a name of one of the potential guys? Because I think his time at 160 will be done after the Conor Ben fight. Is that a name you're still looking at?
I mean, never say never. Never say never. If he was to ever come up to 168, and I've gone through a few big names at 160. I mean, it always makes sense, doesn't it? It always makes sense. So yeah, especially in this game, you never know. You never know what's what, and what can happen. So yeah, it's a fight I'd never write off.
Yeah, you're now part of Team Lee, which means obviously Ben Whitaker's in the camp as well. Liam Cameron for Ben on Sunday. How do you think that one plays out?
Yeah. You know what? I'm looking forward to it. I don't think I've looked forward to a fight for a long time, and I'm really looking forward to this. Both great fighters, both got a lot on the line. I think ultimately it's going to come down to who wants it more. Eddie. I think it's going to come down to who wants it more, because if you look at the kind of skill aspect, you'd have to lean towards Ben Whitaker. But then if you look at making it a rough, tough fight like I did in the first fight, you'd have to lean towards Liam Cameron. So when you kind of look at it in all aspects, it for me it's a 50-50, and it'll come down to the last 2 or 3 rounds and who really bites down in the gum shield and really wants it more.
Yeah, it's going to be a great fight, I think. Two of your last three fights, Hamza, have been away from home. Is it likely we do see you fight a bit more in the UK, or is it, I guess, dependent upon what happens with Riyadh season?
Yeah, it's all dependent. It's all dependent. I don't mind fighting anywhere. To be fair, it's always nice to fight in England. But if I'm gonna get back in the big fights, I think I'm gonna have to do a few backyard jobs to kind of get my respect in the 68 division again.
Give me one name, Hamza. I know fighters not like don't like to do this, but in terms
Yeah,
of a fight next, one name of someone that you'd like to fight. Like, I see you matching up so well against a Diego Pacheco type. Is there any one
yeah.
person that you're looking at?
I think all the names you mentioned, probably the Edgar Berlanga fight would
Yeah, yeah.
would be one of interest. Listen, at the end of the day, he's a big 168 pounder. He's strong, um, and the position I'm in, I need to kind of get my respect back again. I need to show that it was just a bad performance, and it's not that Hamzah Sheeraz can't compete at the top. So listen, chuck me back in there, and I'll um I'll do what I have to do.
Hamza, I trust you all, my man. Honestly, it was just, again, the smallest bump in the road, but no doubt we'll see some good things here, especially at 168. Again, how you made
Yep.
160, how you made 154 still blows my mind. But I think 168, we are going to see the best Hamza Sheeraz.
Yes, God willing, Ade, God willing.